An addictive substance is a non-essential element, meaning it is not necessary to maintain or sustain life. These chemicals can impact the nervous system by producing a sensation of satisfaction as it creates the desire or craving and need physiological dependency for the element. After the element has repeatedly been used, the changed nervous system now defines the element as being necessary for life, as necessary as oxygen, food, water, shelter, and relationships. Eventually, this element is seen as being more necessary for life than any of the other elements, and the addicted individual will be willing to sacrifice any of the other elements to get more of the addictive substance. The Merriam-Webster definition of addiction is the compulsive need for and use of a habit-forming substance characterized by tolerance and by well-defined physiological symptoms upon withdrawal. Broadly, persistent, compulsive use of a substance known by the user to be harmful. These addictive elements work in several different ways. They can mimic a natural neurotransmitter and activate a nerve cell directly, or they can cause an increased release of a natural neurotransmitter. They can cause a delay in the removal of a natural neurotransmitter, or they can attach to a receptor and block the action of a neurotransmitter. What they all share in common is that to varying degrees they all cause an increased release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens. This release of dopamine labels the element as a reward and facilitates memory of the environment associated with the reward. Nicotine comes from tobacco products. It can be inhaled, sniffed, chewed, or worn as a patch. Once nicotine enters the body, it goes to work very quickly. The release of adrenaline from the adrenal glands causes an immediate increase in respiratory rate, blood pressure, and heart rate. If someone has issues with elevated blood pressure, they should not smoke for several hours before having their blood pressure evaluated. The nicotine molecule. Nicotine imitates the naturally occurring neurotransmitter acetylcholine. It binds to acetylcholine receptors throughout the body. The three major areas of activation are in the adrenal gland, where it causes an increased release of adrenaline, the cerebral cortex, where it mimics acetylcholine, and in the ventral tegmental area, where it causes a release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens shell. The increased release of dopamine in the shell of the nucleus accumbens causes a powerful and lasting memory of reward. This action in the nucleus accumbens shell is the major cause of the source of cravings that occur years after someone has quit smoking. In February of 1985, I was attending a very difficult and prolonged labor at the hospital I was working at in northern Canada. It was a time of stress and anguish. The laboring mom was exhausted, the labor had progressed very slowly, and it took the assistance of carefully applied forceps to deliver a healthy baby girl. Exhaustion turned to excitement, anguish turned to joy. Everyone could now take a deep breath. As I walked the half-mile home in the -20-degree winter morning, the air was brisk. The snow crunched beneath my feet, and the green and magenta northern lights danced in the sky. All was well with the world as I puffed on a cigar that I had just received from the new father. Now, I am not a smoker, and it has now been over 30 years. Yet, on a cold, dark Thursday morning, when I walk my garbage can to the street, I want a cigar. The memories of reward from the nucleus accumbens shell are powerful and long-lasting. It is the action of nicotine on the acetylcholine receptor that creates the need for the next cigarette. The acetylcholine receptor activated by the nicotine briefly becomes unresponsive to any neurotransmitter. These neurotransmitter receptor naps become extended with regular exposure to nicotine. It is like the receptors of acetylcholine go to sleep. This condition of nicotine intolerance can develop quickly. So now, when the level of nicotine drops a little, those acetylcholine receptors throughout the brain begin to wake up, and they are not happy. It takes about 20 cigarettes per day to keep those receptors quiet. Without the nicotine, the receptors are now hypersensitive to the activity of acetylcholine. Results in the experience of irritability, attention difficulties, increased appetite, and powerful cravings. The mad and desperate rush for that first cigarette in the morning functions to put the receptors back to sleep and recreate a sense of calm. For additional references and help, please contact the Fractured Resilience website. And to be notified of future videos, subscribe to the Fractured Resilience YouTube channel. Thank you.